Darren, we're down here at, this is your home gym, this?
Yeah, it's what I'm saying, yeah.
Because I came here about a month ago, I think it was, to catch up with Lenny Davison.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, his fight fell through. He was going to be fighting on the Wakefield show. But now I'm back here, because you're topping the bill in Bolton against our Mr. Jake James.
Yeah, it's straight back in now. So I could have gone the route of fighting another 4, 5, 6 journeymen and get the record win, but me and Mick had a chat and it was pointless doing it. It wasn't. I've competed at a high level, British level and stuff like that, and like I was saying before, I've never been blown out the water, kind of thing. I've been in competitive fights. So
I first was just saying before I first met you, it was at Leeds Arena. I think Josh Warrington, you was on the undercard there. I think you were about 14-0. And you beat a kid that we knew a little bit called Dave Neiman. I think he was a Liverpool fighter, wasn't it?
Terry Neiman, yeah.
Terry Neiman, yeah. And I wish you all the best, like you say. And then the next time I seen you, you were in the weight corner against our Mason Cartwright in an absolute cracking fight when Josh won the world title. Yeah, when
he boxed Lee Selby, I boxed Mason, and kind of same again. I wasn't blown out the water. Obviously lost the early rounds and. But then turned it around and I think boxing at that level and like I say, the fights I've lost have been competitive, so it was pointless for me going back to the journeyman route and
Well, you've done all your learning fights.
Yeah, so
you want to stay at this high level and be fighting for titles and a win against Jake James would get you back to that. I think it's been made as an eliminator for the English title?
Yeah, I think so, yeah, eliminator.
But obviously you have part of that, because when you beat Mason, that was for the WBO European, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then you fought for the English against, was it Antwi?
Yeah, I boxed the British eliminator against Taylor, English Antwi, and then obviously British Commonwealth and IBF European versus Esserman. So
you've obviously competed at the higher level. Won some, lost some. Like you say, your last 5 fights have not been great on record because it's 4 losses, isn't it? But it's been at the highest level, like you just said. British title there, English title, European title. This is Central Areas title was the last fight. Yeah. So realistically, you've competed at the higher level. This is a huge step up for Jake James. This is going to be his 13th fight. Is that going to be? Do you feel like it's going to be unlucky for him?
Yeah. Of course I do. It's a massive step up for him, and I can see why they've took it. Looking at the last fight, my record on my last 5 fights, and I know what the plan is. I know what the game is. We'll get him on his way down, and we'll get a win, and then it'll shoot us. That's what they're going to do.
They're hoping to use you as stepping stones to get into that top 10.
Of course, that's what they're doing. They've seen the results from my last few fights, and they thought, now's the time to get him. And I think if you look at the performances from the losses, maybe bar Antwi, they've been competitive fights, even Esserman.
Yeah, I say that, you're a kid who comes on strong late on. In every one of those fights, you've always had the best starts in them. Against Mason, which you won. It wasn't the best start, but you finished it strong. Against Liam Taylor, again, you finished that fight strong. Do you think, because Jake has never done 10 rounds before, do you think this is going to play into your favour because you've done it numerous occasions?
Yeah, it could do. I think he's done 8 rounds once, I think.
That was in his last fight. Performance against.
I think you look at the level of opposition he went at 8 rounds. It's totally different. When you step up, and I could sit here all day and talk. How we're going to win, what we're going to do, why he thinks he's going to win, but ultimately it doesn't matter until the 24th of June, and then I'll do more talking. 24th of June.
And preparations are all going well. We're 4 weeks out. I think it's 4 weeks tomorrow, isn't it?
4 weeks tomorrow. Yeah, preparation's going really well. Me and Mick are working hard in here, and I'm listening more. Paying attention to what I need to do, and I feel. Obviously, every fighter says the same thing, don't I feel really good, but I feel like I'm in a really good place at the minute, and I'm just counting down the
just sometimes, because obviously you had that long period, was it 16, 17 fights where you was unbeaten. Do you feel like you can learn from losses?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. You know, I think any boxer that tells you they don't learn from losses is lying. You know, I think if I'd have scraped through my last fight and got a win on the performance, I don't think, you know, me and Mick have had the same conversations we had and the same chats and worked on, you know, what we need to work on. Because I think if you win, you feel like you don't need to change anything because you're winning. Do you know what I mean? So if you're winning, why are you going to change it? You know, so it's
don't
kind
think
of
something that's not broke, do you?
Yeah, exactly. You know, when I boxed Cartwright, you know, it was the same. I lost the early rounds and then came back strong and, you know, caused a knockdown and stopped him on the cut, and that was probably a bad thing for me because then
Because you got the win.
yeah, I got the win and I came back to the gym thinking, well, alright, so I'm a slow starter, but I'll just pick it up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and take over, and you know, and then I got found out against Taylor, and it doesn't work like that, you know. And then, you know, so I think each loss I've had, there's been different reasons, different, you know, but ultimately they've all been my fault. You know, there've been stuff where I haven't listened in the corner, or you know, where I've gone kind of my own way in my mind and done my own thing, and you know, this fight's going to be very different.
And you know, Jake, from your amateur days, don't you? Because you're both very good amateurs.
Yeah, I'm sure when I had my first England fight, I'm sure he was on the team. You'd have to ask him, but I'm sure he was at like 54,
Well,
57 or something.
Yeah,
like
I know
that.
Jake was a good amateur. I think he won about 3 national titles as an amateur, and he was a top kid. So I presume your paths would have crossed.
Yeah, well, obviously we never boxed. That, like I say, I think he was
He was
a lot lighter than me. You know, I was at 63.5 as an amateur, and I'm sure he was like 54, 56 or something like that. So we never boxed. But
Do you think that's going to be in your favour? Size? Do you feel like you're naturally a bigger man than him?
Yeah, maybe. You know, obviously I've not seen him since I was 17. So you know, obviously I could get to him. He could be 6 foot tall. You know, I wouldn't know. But you know, if there's any question marks on whether, you know, I don't know, does he believe he's a welterweight? Is it, you know, he doesn't really think he's a welterweight? Then, you know, 24th of June, I think I'm a pretty decent sized welterweight. So, you know, we'll obviously find out then. Yeah,
well, I'm looking forward to it on the 24th. I say, does that excite you as well? Do you enjoy going to the other kids' back garden?
Yeah, it's no stress, is it? You know, it's no stress. You just turn up and fight. You know, you don't have to ring everyone 50 times to see if they still want a ticket, or, you know, that's another thing. You know, when you're fighting as the home fight, you know, ticket deals and stuff. I don't need to worry about it. So,
so all the pressure's on Jake, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, whatever deal he's got, you know, he's the hometown fighter. He's the one that, you know, the show's kind of built around. You know, built for him. You know, he's with VIP and stuff like that. So the pressure's on him. You know, I'm just gonna.
Well, I just dropped his tickets off yesterday, and there was a lot of them, mate.
Yeah, so
there was a lot. So you're gonna have a real partisan crowd there. They're gonna be.
He'll have a few Bradford lot that come down as well. So, you know, but ultimately they're not going to get in with him, are they? You know, it doesn't really matter to me whether there's 50,000 there of his fans or 10. You know, ultimately it's who's the better boxer that's going to win the fight. So I'll just worry about that, and he can try run around selling tickets if that's what he needs to do. Yeah,
well, he does, and like I say, it's going to be a great show, topped off with you and Jake James fighting one another. Looking forward to it on June the 24th at the Bolton, the University of Bolton Stadium. It's a great venue. Have you ever boxed there before?
I boxed there, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great venue.
Boxed there in lockdown though.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, no crowd?
No crowd, no.
Oh, there'll be a big crowd there on 4 weeks on Saturday. Listen, I'm going to let you get on. Your coach is looking at making me dirty looks. You're in for your little session of the day. I'll catch a few little bits if you don't mind, and then I'll shoot back on my way. And hopefully, I was speaking to Steve Lillis, you know, Steve who does our bell to bell and everything, and we're thinking maybe about 10 days before the fight we could get a little sit down and do a face to face with you and Jake, and see how it goes and see how preparations have been going.
Yeah, it'll be fun, you know. I've never done it like that, and
well, it needs building, this fight. Well, it doesn't need building because, like I say, you've been at those levels. Jake's not been at those levels, but he wants to go there, and we believe he can go there. And to do that, he's got to beat you. But you, to get back where you want to be, you've got to beat him, and that's
Yeah.
what makes it exciting, isn't it? There's a lot at the stake. There's not just this eliminator for the English title. It's where you want to stay and where he wants to go.
Yeah, I think, you know, a win for the pair of us, you know, puts us right, you know, in title contention, you know, in the domestic scene, and you know that's regardless of whether it's a step up for him or I'm not on good form. You know, the bottom line is a win for either one of us. You know, we're right back there. So
it's a must win for both of you. You know, for
yeah,
him to
you
go
know,
forward,
if you want to go
for
forward,
you to stay where you are.
Yeah, you know, obviously I've still got, you know, ambition in the game, so you know I'm not done just yet.
You're both about the same. Are you 29? Are you?
29, yeah.
I think Jake's either 28 or 29.
Yeah.
There's not much in it between you.
Nah.
So, like I say,
I don't think age is, you know, boxers these days go on forever. They seem to do, don't they? But you know, at this stage of his careers, you know, it's probably a must-win. You know, in a way, if we want to progress up the ladder, and I want to go back to where I've been, and he wants to get to where I've been. So, you know, it's a really good fight, and one I'm definitely looking forward to.
you're not the only one, mate. I'm really looking forward to it, and fortunately I don't have to get punched in the face. I can just sit back and watch it, and I'll be chatting to the winner, whether it's you or whether it's Jake, I don't know, and that's what makes it good. I don't know. I'm going to wish you the best of luck, and like I say, what I'll say is obviously I'm Team VIP, I work for Steve Wood, who's the promoter of the night, and I'll just say may the best man win.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Darren, you take care, mate.
Cheers,
Thank you very
mate,
much. Bye.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.